This is CBS Sports now on CBSN. A new study has the football world reeling. This week, a new study in the medical journal JAMA was released that showed 99% of brains examined of former NFL players had signs of the brain disease CTE.
Yeah, the disease is caused by repeated head trauma and causes symptoms like memory loss, impaired judgment, depression, and suicidal behavior. For more on this, we're joined by CBS Sports columnist and host of Reiter Than You, Bill Reiter. Bill, obviously a serious topic, and the study is already having an impact with Baltimore Ravens offensive lineman John Urschel abruptly retiring. He's only 26 years old. Would you expect more players to follow suit? Yeah,
the last 2 years we have seen right around 20 to 30 players every year under the age of 30 walking away from the game when it hasn't been expected. Urschel's a great example. He was expected to be the starting center probably for the Ravens. This is a guy in the prime of his career looking at the science and the data that you referenced and deciding it's too dangerous for me to continue to play.
And he's also a brain himself. He's a math whiz. I mean, if you're a young person who loves football as he does, he had previously said, you know what, I know there's risks, but the benefits outweigh the risks. The day after this study comes out, he says, I'm done. And he points to this study as a reason for that. Might this have a much more lasting effect among young people who want to play football in their high schools and colleges when people like this say, actually, it's a bit too dangerous?
I think the scary answer for football fans in the NFL is that it should have that impact, and whether young people are going to be thinking about their lives down the line remains to be seen. I talked to the lead author of this study yesterday, Dr. Jesse Mez, and he was very clear. There's not a lot of science. We're still trying to figure out exactly what the correlation is. But he said if I had kids, I wouldn't allow my children to play after this study. We had on the radio show some young people call in from Texas, Friday Night Lights, and say, I'm going to play forever. And we had a mother call in and talk about her son who had concussions just in high school and who has CTE now and those symptoms. So there's really a battle at stake for the soul of football and how you balance people who love this game, and I love the game, and the fact that there can be real danger to those who play it.
You know, when you look at somebody like John Urschel, who, like you said, is basically this math whiz who's getting like an advanced mathematics degree from MIT, he has other options. I mean, what about the many players that don't have the education that he has and can't fall back on that? I mean, it sort of leads to a real divide within the NFL.
It does, and one of the great things about the NFL and about sports is the idea that for those people that are very athletic, it's one facet of the American dream. You can pull yourself up by your bootstrap, you can outwork the other guy, if you got some talent, you can make a great life for yourself. The problem is, and NFL officials have talked about this privately, you don't want the sport to go the way of boxing. 100 years ago, boxing was a sport for the upper class, the middle class, the lower class. It unified America. Anybody could be a boxer. Today, it's very unlikely that upper class and middle class Americans are going to let their kids box, right? It's folks who don't have other means and trying to work their way out of those situations. If the NFL goes that route, it becomes very hard to remain a mainstream sport and at the top of the American pecking order in terms of sports in this country.
But how does the NFL give that up, and what should the NFL be doing? Because leading up to this, the organization has resisted studies, it's resisted the science. Roger Goodell has kind of taken it on the chin as far as this CTE study is concerned. What would you prescribe the NFL and other organizations that, you know, manage football games to do?
It's literally the billion-dollar question for the NFL. And the NFL is trying to turn it around. The Seattle Seahawks have a camp in California right now trying to teach better tackling techniques. The NFL has come around, and this is the right call. You have to stop all youth contact football. 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, pee-wee football. It's got to be flag. It's got to be two-hand touch. And I think eventually, and we need more science to sort of make sure this is the right call.
Well, the question then becomes, at what age is contact football okay?
And I think the answer is we don't know yet. And Dr. Mez, who was the lead author of the study, made it clear that we need more data. But for someone who loves my son, I won't let my son play the game of football. And it would be when he can make his own decisions as an adult. High school football, as much as that's an institution in this country and it's a pipeline to the NFL, it probably needs to be highly regulated over time. And contact probably needs to be reduced or go away for this sport to be as dominant as it is in 30 years as it is today.
Wow. Bill Reiter, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bill.